Good morning everyone, it's Sunday, Easter Sunday. I wasn't going to vlog because I was going to have a weekend off. However, it's just such a nice day and such a nice weekend. I've had the past couple of days just doing nice things. Alex has been at Kitty Wake in Newlyn with his friends, they came to visit. And yesterday I finished organising this kitchen. I turned it upside down, I didn't vlog it because I was just like, I vlogged obviously me spring cleaning the other day with you. And I just was like, I just want to get this done. It was really, really satisfying doing it without filming it and just getting in the zone. I did all of the cupboards, maybe I'll show you later. I did all of the cupboards. I've now got a whole cupboard just for props, for food photography, and I've got loads of room in another cupboard, like basically it's empty for when baby comes, because I know that that kind of stuff, baby stuff, ends up taking up so much space. And I feel like my head is clear. It's really made me want to now do the utility room and get on with our nursery. I don't know why nesting is coming early for me, or if it's just that it's spring. It's probably just that it's spring, so I have this urge to spring clean. The sun is out though, and I'm so happy it is because it's Easter Sunday. But now I am going to a car boot sale locally to me with my dad. I need to get some cash out of the post office in the village. I'm just so worried that it's going to be so busy. I'm not going to be able to park to get cash out and I don't know what to do. I'm just going to go now because then I'll be early and then hopefully it'll be okay. I was going to walk Roxy beforehand and then I ran out of time because I had to do the laundry. I've been doing laundry whilst Alex has been away and I've got a bit of a laundry bug. It's been very satisfying. Alex, just for context, usually does all the laundry. In our relationship, I never do laundry. I don't think I've done laundry unless he's away ever. Because he loves it and he does it all the time. But I was just thinking like this is actually quite satisfying, and if I did it too we'd get so much more done. Anyway, here's my outfit. I feel like I did that whole thing with my cardigan all zhuzhed up, but I've got my vintage dress on, which is so fantastic. I got this in Vintage Days, is that what it's called? Happy Days? Happy Days Vintage. Happy Days Vintage in Penzance. I really want to go there again this summer for like maternity clothes, buy some like floaty dresses and things. I love that it's got pockets and the skirt is huge. I've got my Docs on because I don't know if it's going to be muddy where the car boot is because it has been raining on and off. So I just don't want to wear normal shoes. It's annoying because I keep on looking at all my shoes thinking, I just want to be able to wear them, but I just don't ever do anything that requires shoes that aren't going to get ruined in mud. So I have all these lovely shoes I can't wear. And then I've got my cardigan, which I've had for years. I have this in yellow too, and people often ask me where it's from. It's from Nobody's Child, and I probably had it for about 3 or 4 years now. You know that I wear this one and the yellow one all the time. So if you want a good quality cardigan that is gonna stand the test of time, Nobody's Child, because they're also sustainable and affordable. I love them. I have had to sew the buttons back on, but I feel like that's inevitable if you wash something over and over, and I love it. And I feel like this is very much hiding that I'm pregnant. It does stick out a little bit, but hey ho. And then I've got my little Bean London handbag because I can wear it crossbody. This is a vegan leather handbag if you're after one, and it really like holds its shape and appearance really well, and it's got like a magnet. I love this handbag. I always take it with me on holiday. And then I've just got my little Celine sunglasses, which are acting as a very nice little headband. Anyway, I'm gonna get Roxy in the car. And I cannot wait for this car boot. There's going to be one every month and I'm really hoping we'll find some good stuff, either for props for me or for Kitty Wake. That's my mindset anyway. Or for baby, you know, they might have some baby clothes. Look at that, 16 degrees. Ah! Some good plates. Boot's been very successful. I've got some maternity dresses and my dad is holding a huge bag of stuff that I just got going very, very well. There's so much good stuff and it's such nice weather. That was so successful. I'm gonna have to tally up how much I spent, but I feel like I spent like 20 or 30 pounds and I got so much stuff. I got 3 dresses. I got loads of things just for like me for props. I got loads of oops, dropping my phone. I got loads of stuff for Kitty Wake. Kind of like, oh my gosh, there's so many spiders. Little money spider. It was kind of like, I'm just gonna buy anything that I think that looks nice, that has a purpose. There was some pots there for plants I was really tempted by, but I thought probably my best advice when you go vintage shopping or secondhand shopping is to have something in mind, because otherwise it can become a bit overwhelming. So I was like looking at the kids stuff and I was like, I would end up buying things that I don't know if I need or not, whereas I know that I need plates and props for food photography, and I know that I need stuff for kitty wake. So I'm just going to focus on that. And I also know that I need stuff for maternity. So I got some dresses that were her size up from my usual size, and they're floaty and summery. So they'll be perfect because I know that's what I'm going to want to live in. I'm already noticing how just dresses is all I want to be in, because anything just around my tummy, not a fan. I think I'm going to go walk Roxy now so she can have an actual walk. And then I'm going to either meet Alex or go to my parents or go home and have some lunch, not really sure. But I'm going to probably see Alex at the pub with his friend before he gets a plane. And then go to a pub this afternoon that's actually... So I didn't think it was going to be a family day and it's ended up being one. I knew this would happen though. Sometimes it's easy just to go with the flow and just wait for people to message and be like, this is what we're doing. Yeah, they've recently renovated a pub near us and they're doing an Easter egg hunt, so that'll be cute. So I'll do that this afternoon, just so I'm out the house, because I was in the house all day yesterday organising, and it's such a nice day. And I know if I go home, I'll just be thinking about organising more, and I should just be in the sunshine, enjoying myself with my friends and family. That's what Easter Sundays are all about. That was such a lovely walk, seeing the bluebells, until friggin' dog like ran at us. Second time that has happened in this particular woods. Had Roxy on the lead and there's a black Labrador and he just pelted at us full speed and then nipped at Roxy. I mean, thank goodness that the dog did have recall, so he did run back when they called him and they put him on a lead and took him to the side. But I don't know, I think if your dog does that, should he not be on a lead? Shouldn't really be off the lead if he attacks people like that. Because I think Roxy actually, she stayed very calm. She normally freaks out when dogs do that because she's very nervous around big dogs and black dogs. So maybe it's because it's a Labrador. I don't know. She's very funny about like sheepdogs and staffies and other big dogs like Alsatians, probably just because of their size, not because there's anything wrong with those dogs. I love all those dogs. But she's nervous around them. Or maybe before we got her, she was attacked by a dog like that was bigger than her. But yeah, he ran, and it's probably dog body language that I'm not attuned to. But she didn't freak out. She kind of was like, "Arr!" But she would normally go like really, really, really loud and bark and make a lot of noise. But it gave me like such a shock because a worse situation happened to me once in this woods. So immediately my heart was racing. I didn't say a thing to either of them. I'm glad that the owners were responsible when they put the dog on the lead and took them to the side and let me pass. But I didn't say anything. I was so tempted to be like, maybe the dog should be on a lead if he's like that. But I just didn't, you just don't really want to have to say anything. I just felt too overwhelmed. But yeah, one time in this woods, I was walking Roxy with her on the lead and it was a staffy and then a French bulldog or a smaller bulldog. They came charging, both of them, full pelt, full speed from a really long way away at Roxy, growling, barking, like that kind of noise. So I immediately grabbed Roxy and picked her up, and then they were barking and nipping and biting at me and jumping at me. And I was like, no, down, like trying to like show my authority. Roxy was freaking out in my arms, and neither of the owners had any control over either of them. They were calling them and they were completely ignoring the owners, and they were literally attacking me. I think if I wasn't a confident dog owner and I hadn't like had that stern voice and that body language that I'm in control and picked Roxy up, they could have had a proper scrap, and or I could have got bitten or Roxy could have got bitten. And it was terrifying because it took the owners, it felt like so long, but probably like a full minute or two to get a hold of their dogs. And they really didn't even react that strongly, which made me feel like, has this happened before? They didn't like run over or anything. They kind of like sauntered over, like, oh, well, they was calling the dog's name, got them on the lead. And I was like, what? I think I did say something to them. I think I said to them, your dogs need to be on a lead. They were like, we're so sorry. And I was thinking, what? Genuinely, if I had a dog like who reacted that way,
I mean, I think number one, they're just not being trained by their owners, and their owners should train their dog to not behave that way. But if they are that way because they're a rescue dog, or because they kind of got that pack mentality, or they're reactive for whatever reason, they should be on a lead at all times. It makes no sense to me. Like, I keep Roxy on a lead most of the time, unless she's on the beach because she runs away, because that's me being sensible. Anyway, that made me feel very like, oh, I feel a bit panicked now, because I think it's not because that was that bad, it was because it just reminded me of the situation when those two dogs in this specific woods. I love these woods, but I do get a bit scared because lots of people bring their dogs here and they all seem to not really... Yeah, I don't know why it's this woods in particular. Oh, anyway.
Good evening. I haven't picked the camera up since my dog walk because I went to the pub, sat in the sunshine. The pub looks great. They've done such a good job. And then, I also met Alex and his friend before he took him to his flight, which is nice to get to see him even just for a minute. And then we came home and I had fajitas. And I do this a lot where I forget I'm vlogging, especially if it's a weekend and I decide to vlog on the weekend, because I don't usually vlog on the weekend. But I made such a good spread for fajitas, and then Alex felt too hungover to tolerate it. Because, well, I don't know that he's hungover. I think just like the whole weekend, well, he's obviously been having a fun time with his friends. So I think he said last night he wasn't particularly drunk, but I think he's exhausted. So he's having a bath. I've run him a bath and he's having noodles because he's like, I can't have anything else. And I thought I would show you. I was reminded to vlog, so I wanted to show you our Easter eggs. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I said to Alex that he could have this one, but I'm looking and it says caramel creamy chocolate egg and then a creamy chocolate egg with crispy pieces. I said I wanted this one, but now I'm like, do I want an egg with crispy pieces? So I think that I'm going to have to open both of them, try them, decide which one I like best, and Alex can have the other one because he doesn't care. And I'm excited. I don't know why I didn't have these earlier. My tradition in my family when we were younger was that my mum would make us a nice breakfast for Easter and she would put our Easter eggs on our plates. So it's like the only time we were allowed to have like chocolate for breakfast. And I don't do that as an adult because I don't want chocolate for breakfast, but part of me sometimes thinks I should do that. Anyway, I'm going to have this with a cup of tea and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I can have another chilled, lovely day. Quite like to do a little bit of gardening tomorrow. Maybe I can do that in the morning because I know, oh yes, I do have plans tomorrow. We're going to my mum and dad's for a lunch. So maybe in the morning I could do a bit of gardening, some pottering. And I was reflecting on gardening a lot today. And I was just like, Maddie, stop making it such a stressful experience. Just go outside and do a little bit here and there. There's our compost bin is really full to the brim. Our wrinkle, it composts itself in the house. It's so amazing. And I thought I could take that out and dust it all over the flower beds to give them some nourishment, get some little bits done and just have a nice relaxing day tomorrow before the work week starts. Good morning. I'm just trying on the dresses I got yesterday. This is the first one. How cute is this? I've got my trackies on underneath. I'm so not used to it. Can you even see how short it is? It's really weird because when I was younger I used to always wear really short things because I'm tall and I don't want to show off my legs because I was like, that's my feature. But as I've got older I'm more self-conscious about my legs and I don't ever show them now. But this is pretty perfect. It's very similar to my Naked Generation dresses. Alex was like, don't you already have a dress just like that? And if you look, this is Naked Generation, which is a gorgeous Cornish brand. And look how similar. Obviously this is mass produced, you can kind of tell, like, I don't know where this is from, like Sainsbury's or something. This is like a genuine Indian print, but very similar vibes with the tassels. And it's a short version. I think that that length is perfect because it's in between. It's not short and it's not on your knees. It's like right in the middle of my thighs, which probably on someone who's not as tall as me, it would be to the knees, but that's a lovely length, I think. And that's pretty perfect for the summer. And obviously we've got room for baby to grow because the skirt is nice and floaty. And this will be good when I'm not pregnant too. Perfect for holidays, that kind of thing. I got these 3 dresses, 3 of them for £6, I think. So that's pretty great, very, very cheap. So £2 each. And there's actually another car boots there my dad told me about in Rhubarb. So if you do live in Cornwall, the Praise car boot is the one I went to. They're doing one a month. and then Resurgent do one every Wednesday. So I'm going to go on Wednesday because I want to see if I can get a few more props ahead of a big shoot I'm doing next week, which is going to be really fun. This one I think might have been a fail. I don't think this is very flattering on me. I never get spaghetti straps for that reason, because they don't suit me. And I think how high this neckline is, I'm not so sure. It's like sitting too high up. And I'm not someone who wants to wear like push-up bras that like hoist your boobs right up here. So I'm gonna keep this until I'm not pregnant and see if I like it when I'm not pregnant, because maybe when it's like next summer I will like it. Or maybe this summer I'll wear it when I'm heavily pregnant and not care, because it's comfortable and it's strapless. So let me have a think. Maybe it's because I'm kind of in that stage where I feel self-conscious about the fact I look pregnant. Maybe I'm really overanalyzing it. Because does anyone have like kind of like confusion around your own bump, where I look at it and I'm like, I don't look pregnant enough, but you're probably gonna go, yeah, you definitely do. Because like, I think, does it just look like I've got a bloated stomach? I'm just trying to think, would I wear this if I wasn't pregnant? Because I'm not one to love showing my, sort of having anything clingy around my stomach area. It's not flattering on me. I don't have a waist. This would suit someone who has like a waist. Well, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the cupboard, and if I wear it, I wear it. I don't. It's only £2. It's not my favourite. This was the one I had the most hope for. Not like blown away by it, but it is comfy. It has got pockets as well. This looks like it's a nice brand. Can't remember the brand name. I've also got no makeup on and my hair is not done. Maybe I need to unclip my hair, because I actually do I know lots of people say they like to try things on when their makeup is done. I like to do the opposite, because I think if you try something on and you like something when your makeup isn't done and your hair's not really done and you like it, it's a winner. Whereas if it's like, and you're not like done, then it's probably not one you're gonna wear a lot. Don't know, but that's my thought process anyway, because I'm like, usually if I was to go out, I'd happily not wear makeup with outfits and have my hair kind of like just shoved up and feel fine in them. If I have to be done up to wear an outfit, it's probably not one that I would love. I think this is cute. The colour's cute. I like the fact the skirt's big. This is very like 90s. Me and my sister loved Beethoven growing up, and this is exactly what Rice would wear from Beethoven, with a cardigan. Like, oh, is my cardigan in the wash? Wear it with a cardigan like this. Please say some of you know what I'm talking about. And the fact her name is Rice is amazing. And this would be her outfit, and she'd be, come on Beethoven. Didn't she wear a dress like this just at that party where Beethoven like pulls the balcony off because the guy's being horrible to her, or like trying to kiss her and she's saying no? Look at the skirt, it's so huge. That's an indicator of a good dress, is if it has a lot of fabric in the skirt. So I would say that was quite a success. I've made myself a decaf cappuccino because Alex just made coffee, and the smell was enticing me, and I've gone off coffee completely. Like, I don't even have decaf coffee at home. Before being pregnant, I had a decaf coffee every morning, and now I only have it if I'm out. Don't know why, I just totally went off it, but the smell finally is starting to be appealing again. So, oh, it's the simple things in life. Let me show you what I got at the car boot. This I think will go to Newlyn. It's a lovely little jug that can sit on a shelf. Could be for flowers. I feel like jugs are just so good to decorate with, and this is so pretty. And the pottery is Trigurno, and it was £2. And I love the speckled print. It's beautiful, and the blue works really well. I got these little forks. They were 10p each. Annoyingly, they weren't 4, but kind of a bit different. They're just like wooden forks. Again, it's kind of nice to have a because I always use the same fork and knife in every photo. And these are nice and sort of antique looking. I couldn't quite believe how much. I think I got this and another plate for £2, maybe £1. I was so shocked because she was like, this one is this much. And I said, oh, would you do it for £2? And she was like, sure. So cheap. So this is a gorgeous, hand painted it looks, because it's got this kind of label on the back plate and it's got a hook. So I kind of want to do that this week. I want to hang some plates because I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I keep on saying, oh, I'm going to do it. And all I need is a nail and a hammer. So I have this plate, I have another one over there, and I do have quite a few, and I want to hang maybe 2 on each side, right where I'm stood now,
and this can be one of them, but also it can be, I can take it off the wall and use it, which is lovely because look how lovely that would be for a, I don't know, just like a salad or some kind of platter of some sort, even like putting some bread on there. It would just be so pretty. I love the blue and the green. I do have a thing for blue, for blue and green. Have you noticed in my home, my clothes and my crockery, it's all blue and green. These little kind of bowl plates have the lovely terracotta underneath and then they're blue, which I was visioning things like dips and sauces. Sometimes blue is really nice to contrast. If you've got like a white dip or some kind of dish that's paler in colour, it's nice to have that contrast and it's like a bit brighter. Also, these could go to Newlyn because they're quite nice little dishes to use for, yeah, for that purpose. Like often when you're on holiday, you want some like dips and hummus and chips and crisps out. Don't know why I said chips, I'm not American. But you want those kinds of things out, so it's quite a nice little side dish plate. Whenever I go away, I always find that is the thing that I actually kind of want, and they don't often have it, is like small bowls to put some dips in if you've got if you're going on away with other people. This is a great find for Newlyn. Some porcelain handles. So a couple of the handles on the doors are plastic, and so we want to replace them. I don't think they need to match whatsoever, but I think that they all should be porcelain or metal. So some of them are, some of them aren't. So this was £5 and they've got both sides, and it just feels nicer, it looks nicer. It's not something that's like urgent or anything. Like I'm gonna have a little look at the next car boot I go to and maybe on Facebook. When I go to Kittiwake next, I'll check how many doors actually need them, but at least we've got 2. I know the ones in the landing, 2 of them are plastic. And I also need the finger plates too. Maybe I could look on eBay. That'll probably be the next best bet. I got these knives, again for the same reason. They're just nice little handles. They're not really usable. I'm sure they're very blunt. I could sharpen them actually, but nice for like cakes and other dishes to have these on the side. And actually this knife kind of looks good with this fork because it's wooden. I've got a lovely little Denby pot. I do have some, are they Le Creuset? Yeah, I've got some mini Le Creuset ones, which I use for like a French onion soup recipe. But this is also adorable. It's blue inside. It's a little brown one. So I thought that's very cute for smaller dishes, or just to sit on a shelf actually. Like again, if this sits in the cupboard for a year and I don't use it once as a prop, it can be something that I can take to Newlyn and it can sit on a shelf and it looks pretty because I love it. It's just so sweet. That's probably the least practical out of all of them. That was the one where I was like, I kind of have stuff like this already, do I need it? But it was from Denby and it was like 50p, so I was like, why the hell not? These are going to be very useful. So these are enamel baking trays, and enamel looks so good in pictures because often baking trays are black, and that is hard with food photography because sometimes depending on the dish it can kind of sap all the colour out of it. For things like carrots, that can work really well because it brings out the orange, but sometimes you just need more of a neutral background, and sort of vintage enamelware looks so good in food photography and in videos. So like, look how cute this is. Definitely can't use it unless you were using it outdoors on like an open flame. But to dish something up, like if you were to make like a vegan omelette, or like, yeah, just like a single serve dish of something, or even you could just put some curry in there and it looks like it's more than it is because it's quite small. And I do have a couple of enamel baking trays, but they are newer. This is nice and vintage. It's got kind of the edge that's kind of rusty, and it's deeper than the ones I have. And then I got 2 little plates to go with it again. So yeah, nice little side plates that are enamel and vintage. So quite a success. And let me actually figure out, I had £70 in my wallet and I have left, I don't think I used any cash yesterday, 40, and then I have some cash money. 150. I've got £42, so I spent £28, is that right? So I spent 28 quid on all that and the dresses. I think that's so good. Car boots are like the cheapest, and then charity shops, then vintage shops. And I'm going to another vintage antique fair next weekend at Ennis. So if I upload this beforehand, if you live in Cornwall, Penryn, Ennis Antique Fair, head along if you love antique shopping because they're open on that whole weekend.
I'm sure that will be more expensive, but they may have some sort of stalls that have more knickknacks, but it will also be more curated, obviously, so probably everything will be beautiful. I might actually write myself a list before I go to that so I don't get carried away of things that we actually need for Kitty Wake, so I have it in my mind. So I'm not like buying stuff that I don't need. So we can put this away now. I'll show you the cupboard. So this cupboard used to be full of our extra kitchen utensils and other random things, and it just wasn't very well organised, and now it's entirely for props, which is so useful. There's loads of room to grow as well, and what I could do is, I know that you can get those kind of like stands that go in cupboards, which I definitely think would be really useful, or like plate racks, so that I can see everything better, but for now it's just in there. But I could have a little look on IKEA maybe, or somewhere. Let me know if you know of somewhere, or maybe go into a shop like B&M and see if they've got stuff like that, so that I can like stack them up a bit better or layer them so we can see them. But I've got all of my like extra plates and bowls and all this sort of stuff that was kind of like rocking about in the kitchen in different piles in different places, taking up a lot of room when it's not stuff I use day to day. It's mainly for food photography. Up here, so this is my other enamel tray I have, but it's blue and it's not as deep. And then this is actually my photographer Ali's, her little baking tray we use a lot. And then here I've got like serving dishes and stuff like that. And then down here I've got lots of jars, which I can use for my own purposes, but also that's good for photos. And then some glasses back there. So it's kind of like, it's useful because it's stuff that's mine anyway that I can use, but it's also great for props. And what it's done as well is it's freed up space over here. So this, I'm envisaging, is going to hopefully be a useful space for baby stuff and kid stuff. Right now I've just put the cat food in there, and I've got my tripod and lights, but they don't need to be there. They're just there because I put them there, but they can definitely go somewhere else. And then down here, we now have a whole empty cupboard. That's just alcohol I found lying around that's been there for a really long time. And then in here, again, it's like basically just nothing. That's like a pizza thing that can go somewhere else. So pretty much, for all intents and purposes, have an empty cupboard here, which can be for children's things. Actually, somewhere down the line, we do want to knock through to the garage. If you don't know, there's a garage conversion through there. So an extra living room. My mum was like, why don't you just get rid of this cupboard and have that be the pathway? Because originally we were thinking of in the middle. Let me know what you would do. Because obviously if we did this, we'd have to get rid of our freezer. There's like basically you could knock through there or you could knock through there. I love having a massive freezer and a massive fridge. So I would probably be tempted to get rid of this. And then we would move this situation over here. So this would become the pantry cupboard. And then probably I'd have to get a dresser maybe in the hallway or somewhere else for all the props. It's actually a wider cupboard, this. This could easily become the pantry and we could just get it redone, reconfigured. My mum even was like, you could get rid of this door and do a corner cupboard here or something. One day, because we're gonna have kids running around, I know for a fact from learning from my sister, and probably all of you are gonna say, having an extra living space for like almost like a playroom that's through there that we can close the door on and it's not gonna kind of pile it, well it will end up piling into here obviously, but to have that extra living room that can be like a play area and we can figure out where the kind of other things can go would be so useful. So that's probably a 5-year plan. But let me know, would you knock through here? Or would you knock through here? My instinct is here because I don't know what we would do without this freezer. But then when we did the utility, you could put the freezer in the utility because there is a shower in the utility that we definitely don't need. You could make the shower a freezer and that could be the door. Do you think I need the extra storage or do you think I need the freezer? Let me know. Probably something I just have to think about and make some plans and drawings for, because would this work? Would this be a big enough pantry and store cupboard for me? That's the question. I forgot to show you these ones. Look how gorgeous. Got 2 of these. I think I got 2 for £5. These are a bit more expensive, but I think it's because they're a bit more fancy. It was from like a stall that was more full of like vintage bits. But these actually could be ones that I could hang on the wall, maybe. They're so pretty. And then I also got this lovely pot, which maybe this could go for Newlyn, because in terms of food photography, I'm not sure how, well, maybe actually that's beneficial for some things. Anyway, let's put them all away.
I'll leave these out because these could go on the wall. I keep finding extra bits that I bought. I also got this lamp for 50p. Look at it, it's crooked. So we need to basically fix the plastic inside so it's not crooked anymore. It's chipping, but I think that adds to the charm of it. And I've got to check that it works, but I couldn't believe it when they said it was 50p. This looks like it's leather and then fabrics. It needs like a wipe. And then to very gently move the plastic, not the plastic, sorry, the metal inside so it's less crooked. But you could also put it on a shelf where you wouldn't notice that it's crooked if we can't move it that badly. Like for example, obviously it's going to look more crooked at different angles, like there. Doesn't look crooked, obviously there it does. So I feel like this would look lovely in Kitty Wake. That colour would look lovely against the blue. 50p, when he said it was 50p, I was like, yes please. Look at this chaos that happens when you try and organise. But look how far we've come. So or Alex is a lover, and I am too, of buying refills in bulk. So we've got all these kind of refills for like body wash, shampoo, antibacterial, soap, everything, and then washing stuff is in this side. But we've got loads of room because I'm trying to make things more spacious, because I'm aware, again, when baby arrives, there'll be like medicine and there'll be loads of things that you don't even consider that need a place that I now have space for, because this is obviously very spaced out. So we've got that space up there. And then in here, I've done a basket for like cleaning products that are like more regularly used. So you can just grab the basket and take it to clean. And then this is more like refills / stuff you don't use as often. So like mold and mildew spray, Brasso, or like that's for when Zeus decides to wee somewhere he's not supposed to. And then this is Alex's like beer brewing kits that he needs to sort out, because he's got 4 of them because they sent him loads for free. So we need to sort that out, because we can't have that much space being used for beer brewing when he doesn't even do it really anymore. And then in here, that's light bulbs, and there's now some room. I think that will just be for like some of these kind of generic tool things that you kind of need in the house, but I want to make it a bit more organised. And then we do have like a plastic hot tub that kind of got destroyed by sitting outside over the winter because we didn't have a shed. So we're trying to decide basically whether to keep it or to sell it. So I think I'm going to put those in the attic, and once Newland's done, we'll make that decision. And then, yeah, but just this all needs to just go away now, but we've got more room. So that's space up there. Hopefully there'll be some space in here. I feel like that could be good for the pet stuff. And then this room will feel much better and organised, and I can put things all away. And all of this can go in the shed. So we're going to try and get like a shelf from Lidl or somewhere. And then I can get some boxes and we can have all of our car stuff. This is car stuff. And then this is like gardening / tools. We can actually put them in the shed and organise them, because right now the shed isn't really organised. I just chuck loads of stuff in there. So I just need to get some like storage containers for in there. Maybe Lidl will have some or something. But very nice. I did make myself feel bad. Over the years, I've made myself feel bad that the utilities are always such a mess. And I'm like, well, actually the reason for that is because we didn't have a shed for a really long time, because we were renovating and we were like trying to prepare areas so that we could put a shed in. And then we got put it off for so long, so that all the stuff that most people would keep outside, we had inside. So we're going to get a bigger shed as well out the front. We just need to concrete the ground where we knocked down that old building. There was like it had lots of asbestos, and it was like a block building with, yeah, an asbestos roof. So we need to reconcrete that, and we can get a shed to put there, which will be a nice big shed, which will be really great. So maybe we can do that. Who knows? At some point. There we go. Just apart from the beer, got all nice clear space. These I think I might take to Newland actually, because they're kind of like vases.
And look at that. So good. And all the refills. I think I already showed you this, but pet stuff up there like medicine. And then Alex, he said he's going to have a look at this later. And then I can probably add some more stuff to in here because I think we have some tools under the... That'll be like the next job. Maybe when we get the bigger shed, that's where lots of tools are, and I can probably empty that out because before baby comes, I imagine this will be a really useful storage for things like prams. I don't know, like kids stuff, like if she gets a bike, or like, you know, like little bits, so that can go in a shed. You know what I mean? I know that my sister has like quite a few of those kinds of things, like baby carrier stuff. Maybe we'll move Roxy's bed, but that can be maybe a more useful space. And that was very satisfying. Very, very satisfying to do, because there was also loads of stuff up here. Very unglamorous job. I now need to sort this shelf because this has got like gardening bits on it. And in there's quite a lot of recycling that needs to go to the dump, so we're nearly there. And if this isn't the sign of spring, I don't know what is. Husband mowing the lawn and laundry on the line. Complete bliss. Good morning. It is Tuesday, but it's like the first day of work. And I've just been on my computer this morning. I had a meeting and just like content planning, that kind of stuff. But I'm making a really yummy lunch. I had a craving for this. Don't know why, but the ingredients were in the cupboard and I was like, I really want to eat that. It's such a me meal. So over here we have oyster mushrooms seasoned with some garlic and miso. So you just rip the oyster mushrooms up and then chuck them in the pan with olive oil, cook them until they're brown, like on a high heat. And they really have like a very meaty texture. And then once they're browned off and reduced, add some garlic, miso, and then I've just thrown in the broccoli. This is purple sprouting broccoli with some salt and pepper. I have some black rice cooking. I did have this in the lower simmering oven, but it just wasn't cooking. I don't think it was hot enough. And I'm getting impatient because black rice takes a lot longer to cook. And then in my air fryer, we have some tofu. And this has just been seasoned with corn flour to make it a bit crispier, chili oil, salt and pepper, and soy sauce, and lemon. And I've just turned this off for a second because the rice is taking a bit longer, but I'll just do a final little crisp up when it's ready. And I think I'll have it with some coriander and maybe some spring onion, maybe some avocado, all the good stuff. This looks like my idea of heaven. That lunch was so good. And I hope I have the black rice and tofu leftovers, so I can have that with some different veg tomorrow. I just got a Riverford delivery, so that'll be perfect. Anyway, I'm gonna cook myself a rhubarb frangipane galette. This is a new recipe on my website that has just gone up, so you can go click the link down below if you want to make this. It's that time of year where you can get rhubarb. Most of the rhubarb in the supermarkets at this time of year will be forced rhubarb, which is really sweet. It's where they grow it basically under darkness, so you can get like those containers that cover the rhubarb. But rhubarb will be available now for the spring, summer. So I've got two big things of rhubarb. We actually do have a rhubarb plant in our garden, but we haven't forced it, so it's not really grown yet. Bit early. So this is really delicious, and the frangipane makes it all almondy, and it just honestly tastes like sweets. And I just fancied it because I haven't got a sweet treat. I've got a nice little cake stand in my kitchen, although this might need to go in the fridge. Yeah, probably I'll put it in the fridge. Anyway, I like to have something sweet every week, kind of like there, that I can enjoy with a cup of tea or for pudding. So I thought it'd be nice to share this with you, seeing as it's a new recipe. And it's actually really simple. So I'll show you how I make it. So I'm gonna chop this up to begin with, and then you just put it in a bowl with some cornstarch, sugar, and orange zest for some flavour. And that like candies the rhubarb. And then we're gonna put it on some short crust pastry. We'll make the frangipane base. This should make 2 galettes. Or do I want to half this? No, I'll make 2. Yeah, you put the frangipane basically on the base so it doesn't make the pastry soggy, and it tastes really good. It's just so, so yummy. Hopefully this is not annoying to you. Maybe I've managed to crop it. I'm filming for you, Instagram and TikTok at the same time, and just it makes more sense for me to share on both platforms because I know so many of you do not use Instagram and TikTok. Lots of you use both. Lots of you said you like to see this on YouTube, so just ignore it. You're gonna start by chopping up rhubarb. You want it to be nice and pink because the green bits are not as sweet. So chop the green bits off. Use the nice pink bits. They'll also look prettier on your pastry. So I'm just gonna chop these into about like 5 centimetre little sticks. Then in a bowl we'll mix caster sugar, cornstarch, lemon zest, no, orange zest, and put our rhubarb in there and just set that aside, and it will soak up all the goodness and make it really lovely and sweet. I really love the orange in this, it's so delish. And every week Riverford have been sending oranges and it's just like, oh. So now we can chuck the rhubarb in. And then we can set this aside so it can just do its thing. We're gonna make our frangipane, so you want some vegan butter. I'm using Nutella, that's my favorite one, but you can use any vegan butter. Just try not get like a salted one, because that might make it kind of a salty flavour. And then we're gonna whisk that till it's light and fluffy and add in some caster sugar. Keep whisking that, and then we'll add in a bit of vegan yogurt, vanilla extract and almond extract until it's like a really nice fluffy texture. And then we'll use the dry ingredients separately, combine the two to make our frangipane, and then it's literally just a case of rolling out the pastry, putting the frangipane down, topping with the rhubarb, and then folding over and baking. It's that easy. This is the yogurt I'm going to use. Get a unsweetened plain yogurt. Don't get a coconut yogurt or a sweetened yogurt, because that will add flavour. So this is the best bet. I don't love this on its own. Well, no, I do. It's the sweetened one. I don't know what it is about the Alpro sweetened. I'm not a fan. It's a bit too much. But this is the best one, I think, for cooking, because it's just the most neutral in taste and you can't really tell the difference. Whereas if you get a coconut yogurt, unless it works for the recipe, like with chocolate or something, if you're going for a neutral taste, definitely Alpro, no sugars. And then we just add that in a little bit at a time and whisking. And then at the very end, we'll add in our almond and vanilla extract. I forgot the vanilla extract, where's that? Oh my goodness me. It is the bane of my life that we spent so much money on these cupboards to be built, and they are so badly done. They are like warped. The drawers are broken already and it's only been a couple years. Oh, winds me up so much. We spent so much money on them. I don't understand. You'd think you spend that kind of money on a carpenter locally, they would last a lifetime. But no. Anyway. So now in goes vanilla, and then just a really small amount of almond extract. You can get this in the supermarket. I know it's not necessarily something you might have in your cupboard, but I just got this in the baking aisle. So now in a separate bowl, we're gonna mix flour and then ground almonds. Again, baking aisle. This is usually with like the nuts and seeds, but like sometimes at the bottom, but it is always there. So some flour. And then a pinch of salt. You can just stir the almonds, flour, baking powder and salt together. So now we've got our dry ingredients, just add them into your cream, your frangipane, with a spatula and just combine it, but just don't over mix it or anything. All combined, and it should look like this. Now we can preheat our oven to 180. I would use the Arga, but the Arga is like a set temperature, so it's easier to use the oven for these kinds of purposes. I use the Arga when it's like cooking rather than baking. Was interrupted by my Waitrose delivery. Maybe I'll show you that after this, but yes, next we will preheat the oven. I was just saying that I don't use the Arga for baking often because the temperature is like, it's set at a certain temperature and then you put food in and then the temperature goes down because it's just an old way of cooking and it depends on the recipe. But if I'm doing this for like a video, I'm not gonna like risk it. It probably would work fine. And if I was cooking for myself, I may just use the Arga, but I tend to use that for cooking rather than baking as much. If I have this oven, it's just much more foolproof. So this should make 2 Frangipane. You could do this how you like. You could do like big, a massive one if you've got like a block of short crust pastry and you rolled it out. You could do individual servings for people if you're doing a dinner party. The way I did it, I just used a 12-inch bowl approximately, did that, and then I rolled it out again and did it again, and it had enough because there was quite a lot left over. But you can literally do it however you like, but this kind of, in this specific rolled out pastry already, there's like a little bit left over. And if you don't want any waste, you don't even have to cut this circle, because you're going to be like overlapping the edges when you make this one. So I'm not going to cut this one, I'm just going to make it to an approximate circle size. That's about the right size, because the way you fold the galette, you kind of just overlap the pastry, so it doesn't have to be perfectly circular. Makes it look more rustic, so you can just roll out a circle that's about the same size. So I'm just going to use life hack, use the baking paper that comes with the rolled out pastry. So now we've got the pastries on a baking tray. Slightly worried that this baking tray is already hot because it was in the oven. I forgot, I don't know where my other baking tray is. But now you want to take your Frangipane, plop it onto the pastry, leaving like a 5 centimetre gap all around the edges. You can make a pattern with the rhubarb if you like. I'm just gonna put them on however they fall. And then you literally just fold the pastry up overlapping it as you go. And you don't need to do like a pattern or anything. It can be nice and rustic. And then you can finish by brushing it with some vegan milk and then sprinkling over some demerara sugar. And there they are. How cute. I did overstuff them a little bit. You don't have to do that. And then we just put those in the oven for 45 minutes until they are golden brown. And they're so lovely. They're so delicious with some ice cream. I think I've got ice cream, I hope so. Like I said, you could do like individual portions. That would be quite nice if you're having like people over. You could totally do 6 of these, I think. And yeah, for some reason my rhubarb, so this happens to you, the last time I made these, I've made these 2 times before actually, the sugar really soaked up into the rhubarb and they got very candied and juicy. Hasn't happened this time. I'm wondering if it's the kind of rhubarb. Maybe this rhubarb is older. I really don't know why that's happened. Right, while that cooks, I can show you Waitrose and put that away. Some more Itsu crispy seaweed thins. If you're vegan, great source of iodine, which is maybe more tricky to get. You still get it in vegan foods, but it's like a nice little addition. You can also just like crumble this on like the meal I had for lunch. You can just sprinkle it on top, but I do like the packets. Top up of ginger. Crisps. Love salt and vinegar squares, and then Walker's prawn cocktail are accidentally vegan. Some rolls, because we're gonna make burgers and chips this week. These are actually quite a nice set of rolls for the ingredients. Alex and I don't buy bread anymore because we make it, but this one, actually the ingredients are not half bad, because some of them have got lots of different things in them, whereas this is like, I recognise all of those ingredients, which you do not need to worry about. Just showed you crisps that are full of preservatives. Someone actually messaged me the other day saying, how do you reconcile like UPF on a vegan diet? And my answer was, with UPF, obviously it's important to be educated and it's backed by science, but don't fall for going down the path of obsessing over it, because it is kind of thinly veiled diet culture. If you become really obsessed with it, and if you're feeling guilty about eating foods that are UPF, or if you're kind of really changing everything to never eat UPF and it's stressing you out. For some people, they do it and it makes them feel good and they love it. That's totally different. But if you're finding it's like becoming a stressor, or you're kind of obsessing over it, it's maybe something to question. That you're fine if you're eating lots of whole foods and lots of yummy foods and cooking from scratch a lot. Like I for example, this is what the approach I take. having UPF is normal. Everyone has it as long as it's not like a staple in your diet. It's not like the majority of your diet. Go by like an 80-20 vibe, 90-10. Don't really overthink it. Adding some vegan cheese, because I think she was saying that she's dairy free now, so she was having to swap normal cheese for vegan cheese, which is obviously swapping a processed whole food for a ultra processed vegan option. In that case, don't worry, especially if you're doing it for an allergy reason or for an ethical reason. If you're vegan, really don't overthink it. I'm not eating a meal that is purely vegan cheese ever. And maybe unless it's like a vegan toasty, like a cheese toasty, but even then, like, I'm gonna add things like yesterday or the day before I had a kimchi and cheese toasty. I've got homemade bread, I've got kimchi. I don't need to be worrying about this small amount of vegan cheese in my entire day when I've had fruit and legumes and vegetables and everything else. So yeah, just don't stress about it if you're feeling like there's lots of noise around UPF at the minute. Something to be considerate of, but it's not something to worry about, because then that becomes diet culture and it's like restriction. Anyway, onion top up. Pizza dough. This is the dough we always buy. We have a pizza every Friday. Sometimes we make the dough, but this is quite a nice lazy one just to have in the freezer. It's fantastic. And again, similar with the ingredients, it's just like wheat, olive oil, yeast. So pretty great, and it makes such a nice pizza. We have this every week and I always look forward to it. This is my favourite vegan cheese, the Cathedral City Mature. I do think the extra mature is tastier though, but always get that one. Alex got some spaghetti. I think he's going to make some spaghetti bolognese for himself this week for lunches. Speaking of which, this isn't beef mince. I feel like I should get Alex to film his spaghetti bolognese recipe, because he always buys whatever vegan mince is on offer, usually a frozen one, but I think maybe this one was on offer, which is why he's got it. And then he'll add in carrots, courgettes, onions, celery, whatever veg is like in the fridge that needs to be eating. He'll always grate courgette and carrot, or the equivalent if courgette's not in season. And so it's like packed with vegetables, but then it's got protein from the vegan mince, and he always makes it so delicious. So I might need to get him to film that for you. And then we've got some tins, some coconut milk, some cannellini beans. Got a couple recipes from Melissa Hemsley's Eat Green book we're making this week. Lentils, tinned lentils. They're a great one to always have in the cupboard. Such an easy like protein carbohydrate to have if you can't be bothered to cook, because they're already done. And then some black beans. This is fun. We got some Palace Culture Mouldy Goatee plant-based organic cheese. I think Alex must have seen this. Maybe it was on offer or something, but I'm excited to try that. Intriguing. I feel like the fermented vegan cheese thing is becoming a long way, and it's becoming more mainstream in the supermarket. We have got some passata for our pizzas. Hummus. Every week, always get hummus. This isn't chicken. This is the best vegan chicken. Got a lot more vegan meat this week for some reason. I think I got this because one of the Melissa Hemsley recipes is cauliflower, and Alex, I don't know how he'd feel about a recipe that's like the main thing is cauliflower and beans. He'd be a bit like, too many vegetables. So I thought I could put this on top. Vegan sausages from Waitrose. This is their plant living mushroom and leek sausages. They sounded yummy. This is for like a nice tray bake we're having. And then Alex has picked up the La Vie plant-based ham honey roast. This is excellent if you want a vegan ham and cheese sandwich and you want that craving. It is so delicious, and Alex is gonna make some bread, and that's like a nice sandwich that he can have during the week. Honestly, it's delicious. What's this made of? Is this soy or is this? Wow, the ingredients are really, there's not very many ingredients in this. I thought it'd be, it's like a little bullet point list, so I didn't realise. So it's pea protein, 90%. Soy protein, natural flavourings, radish concentrate juice, salt, acidity regulator, preservative, vegan lactic acid. So the only thing in there I remember from reading that book about UPFs that would be like question mark is natural flavourings. But again, you just don't need to worry. It's such a small part of like your week. Alex might have like 1 or 2 sandwiches this week with that throughout the whole week. You just don't need to be worrying about it. I feel like the conversation is more to do with the general public about how everyone is eating just loads of UPF, and that's affecting us. Probably not you guys who are watching this channel, like a cooking channel, a wellness channel, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Spinach. And then Alex got these Alpro plant protein yogurts. They're a nice snack to have. There's the raspberry flavour, and then this is mango or tropical. Red berries and tropical. And they've got 15 grams of protein, so they're really high in protein, which is great.
Got some bubble bath. I think Alex got this one because I always get the expensive Lush ones and he likes the cheap ones because he's like, if I'm gonna have a bath, I'm just gonna get the cheap stuff from the supermarket. Some cherry tomatoes for sandwiches again, or have with pizza and hummus. Riverford actually came. Let's show you Riverford while we have the time, because this is the good stuff. Right, we've got mushrooms, chestnut mushrooms. This is their fruit and veg box. We have got coriander, which I order separately every week because I use coriander every week. We've got a nice salad. We have got some lemons, but they are green. Wait, did I order limes as well? Maybe I ordered limes and lemons. Or maybe I ordered limes. I have it on a repeat order for lemons. That's confusing me a little bit. Anyway, some cherry tomatoes. We usually get the cherry tomatoes actually from the supermarket as well because this is out of season, so they're not as good, because the Riverford ones, I don't know where they're grown. It's not really, oh actually, they smell pretty great. Maybe it's actually coming into the season. I noticed that when we got the fruit and veg box in the winter, they tended to still put tomatoes in it, and the tomatoes were not very good. But these smell divine, so actually these must be good. Maybe because it's getting warmer, the greenhouses are warming up. We've got some bananas. Courgettes, it's courgette season. We're coming into spring, summer, like we're getting well into spring now, and courgettes are here. This is quite early for courgettes, but still. Cauliflower, I think it's kind of the end of the cauliflower season now. That's the Melissa Hemsley recipe we're gonna use that for. Another courgette. And then we've got all these oranges, and when these arrived, I already ate one because I looked at them and I was just like, I absolutely need them, because my craving in pregnancy mainly has been fresh, juicy fruit. Nice cute little apples. Some carrots, which I'm sure Alex will shove a few in his spaghetti bolognese. And then some potatoes, so we can have those with the chips. These are Tripolo, type of those. Oh, they're fine, yeah. So he'll make some chips later, and we'll have this burger, which has been in the freezer. These are the Plants chickpea, pea and lemon zest protein veggie burger, which we got a few weeks ago, and I'm actually excited to try this because I haven't yet. And I like that they're showing it with some nice red cabbage. Oh, I don't have any. Oh, I thought I did. No, I ran out. I have got a jalapeno like relish, or I could put kimchi on there. But excited for that this evening. Might even take that out of the freezer for now. Time to put all the food away. Right, should we do a little taste test? I did overload mine a little bit, so don't do that. But I really wanted all the Frangipane in there, and I just didn't leave enough of a gap. Did you notice how the edges didn't have that nice crimpled look that they do on the website? Oh well. It tastes the same. Truly, this tastes like sweets. It's unbelievable. Have it with ice cream. Oh my goodness. Guten Morgen. Is that the right German? Guten Morgen?
Yeah.
Yes. They're off to another car boot today. Swimming last night was lovely, and I have blow dried my hair straight. And I was saying to Alex this morning, my favourite pregnancy symptoms have been the lush thick hair and the plump lips. Because I have blow dried it straight and I'm like, whoa, when did it get so long? And like, it's still full at the ends. And I know as soon as I have baby, loads of people have postpartum hair loss. And I'm just gonna savour this while it lasts. But this is my outfit for the day. Let me take this off. I am loving wearing dungarees because it shows off the belly, and I feel so like cute and pregnant in this with my little bump. These are Lucy and Yak, and then I've got my squeaky Doc Martens. These are the vegan ones. Probably when these, well, I don't think they will die. If they ever did, I would get secondhand leather ones probably from Vinted, because the vegan ones, definitely get them still if you're wanting to get a new pair. But I think Alex, maybe at some point he had a secondhand pair he got in a charity shop, and they didn't squeak like this, so that's the only thing that's negative. They're actually very comfortable and I wear them a lot. This jumper is secondhand. I love this colour combo, the navy and the pink. And then this bag is the same I had the other day. This vlog is very piecemeal, but maybe that's quite nice, because I feel like this week we're doing lots of nice things. Car boot, Easter. So Alex is going to come with me this time, and
we're gonna have a little hunt, and hopefully it's not too muddy. I think it's gonna be a little bit muddy because it was pouring with rain last night. But I feel like a new person after going for a swim. I love going for these swims because I used to love swimming when I was younger, and it's really nice also to spend time with a new friend because I met her through pregnancy yoga, and it's just a nice thing to do. It's a nice way to spend time with someone and just do something relaxing because we're both pregnant and we're both at the same point in our pregnancy, and to do something that's so like it's really good for you but it's not too like high intensity swimming. And I found it so much easier this time. It's my second time going, and I did more lengths and I found it so much easier. I was really like getting into the swing of it, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. I really enjoy this. So I'm going to keep that up probably, and maybe in the summer we can do some sea swims instead of at the leisure centre. Go for some sea swims maybe in St Ives or somewhere else. Anyway, let's head off to the car boot. We have arrived, and this is the real deal. I feel like this is for pro car booters because it's huge.
It's like I've come to an event.
Like a festival.
Yeah.
Look how many cars there are.
A football match.
It's like a huge field filled with cars. This is every Wednesday in Rhubarb if you live in West Cornwall. Cute little teapot. Upside down painting.
Or is it?
Where have I found you? We are back and we had a nice successful trip. This is lovely, got a nice platter. I have lots of blue platters and plates and things like that. This is a nice different colour, and I feel like it would work well for Christmas time because it's red and green, but also just spring, summer, just any time. And it is hand painted, which is beautiful. So this is really great for just serving anything up. You could put like chips or a salad or like a vegetable side dish. Really, really nice. And that was £1 or 50p? Really cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was £1.
A pound. These two plates I think were 50p or £1. Again, I have so many plates that are blue. I imagine for like spring, summer, like tea party style, you know, a cake. It's just some kind of difference, especially if you have like a tablescape of like a picnic or something out, or an outdoor shot with various dishes. To have like a mix match of these kinds of plates is very, very cute. This one has like a green outside to it. And this one says on the back, Shaftesbury, England. And then this one is Royal Albert Bone China. So they're both good quality plates. Also, I love the kind of scallop, almost like shell-like texture to this one.
Did you say Royal Albert?
Albert. I was in my mind thinking of Royal Dalton and then said it like that. This is very neat. This is for Newlyn. This was from one stall and this was from another. Alex spotted this after we'd just bought these. I think these were both £1.
You mean Alex?
Show them your sandwich. Alex just made a nice vegan bacon. No, show them.
There you go.
Vegan bacon sausage sandwich.
Only have one sausage left.
Oh no. Well, this is the Tintagel pottery in Cornwall, and obviously hand painted.
That's quite cool, that.
Really cool. And this is again like we're going to have nice shelves in the kitchen, so these can just go on the shelf. A nice little bowl for you know, you could have granola and yogurt in this quite easily, but also for dips or chips. Why do I keep saying chips? Crisps, that kind of thing. I did this earlier as well, I said chips. But also it just looks nice. Like it kind of just, it has a very lovely vibe to it. And then this could sit next to it. Maybe you could put some flowers in there, or it's just nice. You know, these sorts of things, we've got a whole house to fill. It will feel a bit empty, and I don't want it to be like one of those, sometimes I've stayed at Airbnbs that are blank slates and it just feels a bit like you're staying somewhere that like nobody, well obviously like no one lives, and so it can feel a bit cold, not very like warm and cozy. And I want it to feel like a cozy cottage, almost as if the time that you're staying there that you live there. So these kinds of things add to that. So that's lovely. And then we've got this lovely oil painting, which I think we're gonna take the glass, because I think if it's an oil painting, personally, I think that glass kind of takes away from it. Look, you can see it's reflecting everything. The glass takes away from the fact that it's an oil painting. So I would probably take the glass out, because when it's glass, it makes me think it's a print. Is this weird? Do other people have this? I don't know. And paint this frame. I think we'll paint it white, either a solid white or like kind of just like a shabby chic kind of vibe, which is I think probably the best. That would look really nice with this style of painting. But beautiful, beautiful painting of a stormy ship that will look great in Kittiwake. I think that was £5, so we spent under a tenner. I think, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe quid. It was an excellent car boot. There was so much stuff. There were clothes, and I was actually just like, Maddie, stop. And there were like stuff for the garden. There was loads of plants, and also lovely kind of like galvanized planters, like buckets and things. But like I said earlier in the video, I think you have to focus on what you need, otherwise you can get carried away and overwhelmed. And that's my recommendation with charity shopping and vintage shopping too, because there's so much stuff to look at. You can get a bit like, oh, I don't know what to buy. You either end up buying nothing, or you end up buying lots of things, and then you come home and you're a bit like, what was this for? It's really helpful to have like a focus, because then you stick to a budget and then you're more successful, I think, in your shopping endeavours. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of hoovering because I got mud all over the floor just now. Just had a lovely delivery from Dove's Farm. This is the flour I do try and get most of the time, because it makes a big difference when you use good flour for bread. Some people would imagine that you just use any flour, it's all the same. It's actually not. We learnt this on the Philly Way bread making course. He recommended to get nicer bread. It doesn't have to be organic, doesn't have to be Dove's Farm, but the cheaper bread will reflect when you make, the cheaper flour will reflect when you make bread. So I tend to get Dove's Farm, it is the one I like to get. Also because they have the different kinds. So like rye and spelt, you can use that for your wholemeal flour, and then you get variety. But yeah, thank you so much. They've got baking powder. I've got their yeast before, but I've never seen their baking powder. So we're all stocked up now, thank you very much. Good morning. I have a cold. Did I vlog when I had a cold? Maybe I mentioned I was catching one. Yesterday I was like, I did work on my laptop and then laid in bed all afternoon because I have a big shoot next week that's really important and I cannot risk being ill. So I was like, I'm going to take this day to properly rest, and then hopefully I feel better. I definitely do feel better today because I just don't feel like I did yesterday, so it's going to be all of those passing things, thankfully. Two very exciting, well, I'll say 3 very exciting things have happened in the garden. One of them's not actually that exciting, but 2 very exciting things. First is that the wisteria is properly coming out now. This makes me so happy every year. We trim it twice a year. If you didn't know, you trim it in the winter and you trim it in the summer, and it helps with the blooms to be much more full. And I actually think that since living here, I don't know if this will be true, I wonder if this year's going to be the best year, unless there are... Roxy, you stay there. Go inside. Go inside. She has a tendency to run away, so I'm going to shut her in there. Yeah, the first year we lived here, it was great, and I'm assuming it's because the previous owners, they were gardeners, I think, and she was a florist, so they obviously had trimmed it and looked after it, so it really did bloom beautifully that year. I think last year it wasn't great because we had loads of storms in May, which blew all the blossoms off, and I was so upset because we have the kind of wisteria, there's kind of multiple kinds that you see. Some of them come out purple, and you see them purple with no leaves before, like the quite early blooming ones, and I've seen quite a few of them recently. I'm slightly jealous because I'm like, they've got all the purple without any leaves, so it really is like very show-stopping. This one is one that blooms with the leaves at the same time, so as you can see, all of the blooms are coming out and the leaves are coming out, and when it's in full bloom in May, it very much is like green and purple, but it's so stunning and I'm so excited to see them. Let me show you. And they also smell incredible. Like, I was sniffing this one, so this is what it looks like when it starts to come out, and obviously the ones down below haven't come out yet. This one's a bit behind, but then you can see these ones are the ones that are very behind, and they do start out kind of like this. Like a month ago they all look like this, and then the leaves are this kind of like orangey browny kind of, they almost look like they're like not happy, but they pop out and go really green and really bright. But look how many blooms they're going to be. Like, I don't, maybe my memory is wrong, but we really trimmed it a lot. So the way that you do it is that you basically want any spindly whippy bits, like this actually should have been trimmed. Oh no, it has been. You don't want any of those. So obviously we've just got
the big branches here so that the light can get into the plant and promotes all of those lovely blossoms essentially. And I feel like we've done a really good job of thinning it out because you can just see the structure of the plant rather than lots of whippy bits. Here maybe you can see all of them that are about to go wild. You can see them starting here. It's all going to be very, very purple soon. And one change we did make in the winter was we brought it across here over to the annex. So hopefully this summer it will have a big growth spurt and it can grow all along there, so it can go across the annex and make it look really beautiful against the blue. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, it was, I swear it was like maybe here. It has grown a very small amount but not much, but that is the plan anyway, and I think that's going to look really pretty if that's all purple hanging from above. I do want to do these beds maybe today if it's not raining again, because I've got some compost inside from the wrinkle that I can pour on the beds and I want to weed. These are all the irises. They have multiplied this year, especially on this side. They're going to be a beautiful bright pink. See, look, this one's coming. They're actually lovely because they're one of the first like flowers in our garden that come out and they're really bright and colourful. And then over here you can see it's starting to fill out more and become more green. I am a little bit concerned that these are a weed. I don't think they are because I think I planted them. Anyway, I need to like figure out this bed because there's lots of weeds happening and separate the weeds from what I planted last year. But the exciting thing that I actually did come outside to show you, well, one of the things is that the blossom is out. Look, I've got this blossom, and the apple tree, we had them trimmed. Did I show you this? We had them cut back. I think I did, but the blossom is now coming out, so that's so pretty. I love this when it comes out. Can you see this? It's kind of not the nicest day today, but this is what we had done. So we had cherry tree come over, they're local to us, but they came and cleared out all the beds except the rhubarb that you can see. And our attempt to keep the in-between bits with mulch did not work. It was completely ridden with weeds, like a crazy amount of weeds. Putting cardboard down was nowhere near enough to cover it, so they have put down like a tarpaulin and pinned it so that will kill off any weeds. And now I'm actually now thinking that I might do gravel instead of mulch. Let me know your thoughts, pros and cons, but I worry with mulch is that it can be very easy for weeds to get in there, and because it's so wild and wonderful down here, I just feel like that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be easier to deal with gravel, but maybe I'm wrong. And if you're like not clued up on this at all, then I spoke about this a few months ago because I was finding it very overwhelming. I cleared a few of the beds, Alex did as well, but it was so time consuming, and they even said to me yesterday that like, that was hard work. It took them 2 separate occasions to get them all clear, and I think we cleared about 4 of them. They've loaded it up with loads of compost, and it was just such a lot of work to do, especially being pregnant. I was just like, I can't physically do it for more than like half an hour to an hour because it becomes very tiring bending over like that. So they've done it, and I'm gonna do half of them with wildflower, sunflowers. I've got loads of like flower packets, and then I have some seedlings inside which I'll plant out, and then the rest I'm just going to get plugs from the garden centre. So I've really listened to a lot of you and just decided to not make it like a thing that's going to be stressful, but a thing that's going to be fun and enjoyable, because I don't have the time obviously this year renovating another cottage and also being pregnant and also working on like other work projects and things that are really big that I'll be able to tell you about soon but I can't tell you about now. Yeah, I'm working on something else, so it's like time consuming all around. It will be really pretty and maybe things will just fail and who cares, but yeah, I'm just going to chuck loads of seeds and just look after them the best way I can and not worry about it too much. I did actually try, because some of you did suggest about like contacting like a community gardens or like allotments, and I did do that. I commented on a few different posts locally, but no one came back to me because I've obviously got all these beds, and I was like, does anyone want to use them? I'm pregnant and you're welcome to come and use these beds, just send me a message, but nobody did, so I guess the interest wasn't there. So maybe in the future, we'll see. So when they cleared all these beds, there was one thing that I did actually like wonder what your opinion would be on. So down here we have got a gunnera which comes up every year. Pretty epic. They're kind of like called I think their nickname is a giant rhubarb, just for reference. This is quite small, it gets absolutely gigantic. It will fill out most of this space. Like the winter I dug all this up, but I
basically chucked loads of weeds down here, like in a pile, like a compost pile. But obviously that's now multiplied, so we're going to trim this. And I'd love to know your ideas. I don't know how, every single year we just don't know what to do with this area of the garden. It ends up becoming overgrown. It's right at the bottom. We don't feel particularly inspired about it. It's obviously near the veg beds. At one point I considered that we might put the greenhouse down here, but it's a very wet end of the garden, hence why the gunnerer likes it. I don't think it's the sunniest spot, so that's probably not a good idea. I think a shed down here could be a good idea for the veg plot, like you could have a shed here. But my thought, because Treba Garden in Falmouth, they have lots of gunnerer and they have a lot of hydrangeas. And I wondered, just to fill the space, if we could just trim this back and keep it tidy, but plant hydrangeas just along the fence, this fence here, and then leave space to dig out to put a shed down here. That's my thoughts. If you have any other ideas, let me know, or if you think that idea that I've just suggested is a good idea. And also, where do you buy hydrangeas? Because I did buy some from the garden centres a few years in a row, and they weren't happy. Is there a place you can buy them, like online, where you can get like bulk hydrangeas? Is that crazy? A weird thing to wonder, like, because I'd need to buy maybe quite a few to fill that area. So again, let me know what you think, or if you just like no. And look at our rhubarb. Let's check out our rhubarb, how it's doing. This looks like it's bolted, but that's weird because it's still quite early. There's quite a lot of rhubarb down there. Maybe I might trim these bits actually. It's nice to have the beds kind of like ready to go. And I think I think visually, if I fill it with gravel, it might look nicer. The only other thing is, like, it's so sloped. You can't tell, but it's so sloped. Look at the garden now as well. Now there's no fence in the middle breaking it up. I know lots of you liked that because it broke the garden up, but I kind of just wanted a blank slate to work with. It's not going to stay like this, just one big lawn. I've got some ideas for maybe flower beds and ways to soften it, but that'll be for a 5-year plan. I just can't wait till the wisteria's out.